What going on? Welcome to another live episode, a live stream of A Different Day with Ja and
Neci. Good afternoon.
I hope that y'all didn't miss us too much, but we're back again with another live stream on 101.3 Row FM and on Same Difference page. If you want to tap in with us, scrolling down to the bottom of your screen, you can tune in live on YouTube as well. Those are the deets. All right, we got a lot going on, but first, Neci, how's your weekend been? Even though the weekend is always short.
Man, this is just calling it a weekend. Just call it the week because it just continues. By the time you do anything on a Saturday, your weekend done.
It's true.
And that's what it feels like. Because I was literally just like, my alarm went off and I was like, what alarm is that? And I'm like, it's 3:30 already? So, yeah.
Yeah, man. It'll be like that for you.
It does.
So what do you...
How was your weekend, sir? How was your weekend?
Unfortunately, my weekend is only one day today, and here we are.
Here we are.
Well, it's fine. I actually use Sundays to kind of, relax. I take a little run, do some meditation, listening to some calming music to get my mind right for the upcoming week. So, yeah, I enjoy it. I was very excited because, we took last week off. So I was very excited to come back. We got a lot of news. How about you? Did you enjoy your break?
I mean, I enjoyed the break that was given to me. I didn't take no time off, people. It wasn't me on vacation. We just took a break. We took a social media break. That wasn't me. Just for the FYIs, But yeah, I had a busy week. It's kind of like our year end. So I'm going to have a busy kind of few weeks in a way. But it was good. It was good that I had to come home and I was just like, I could just come home, relax or whatever, run around. And I had some things going on with the kids and stuff like that. So, made the most of it. Lots of birthdays last week for my family. So.
Oh, yeah. Okay, you got a big family for real.
I got my niece.
I just don't care about it. But yeah.
My niece, my daughter, and my sister are all back to back. So happy birthday to them, the Gemini Massives out there.
Oh, that's a hard sign, son. People talk a lot about Libras and Virgos, which we are, but the Geminis, all right.
I'm gonna just shout them on. That's my peoples, I'm gonna stand beside them.
Now, I would definitely suggest for everybody out there, because it really did make a difference. Take some time away from social media. Take some breaks, because you may not notice how much it has integrated into your life and how much time we spend on it. And a lot of social media is negative, and that gets inside of you. Pause. But yeah, I would definitely suggest it. Do you take social media breaks?
I do. And I do. And I didn't really do one this week with you. We took a break from this particularly, but I didn't take one from social media altogether. But I do. And especially when I go on trips or vacations or whatever, my focus this year primarily is to be more present on vacations when I'm spending quality time with people. Yes, it's great to capture content. It's great to capture memories, pictures, videos, but I'm trying not to let it be all consuming of my experience, because I want to really be more present in what's happening.
Facts. Because that can eat up your time, and you being present is different. Some people may not understand that being present doesn't mean you being there physically. You have to show up and actually. Because a lot of times we're doing this. We got our phone in our hand and we looking down, and you know what I'm saying? But you're not present for real. You may miss entire conversations. Life will pass you by because of the phone and this social media thing for real, man.
It does. Absolutely.
Disclaimer before we get into it. The views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the broadcaster. And we try to make it as clear as possible that when we say something, It is not 101.3 that is saying it. It's Ja and Neci. So if you want to hold somebody accountable, let it be us.
Yeah. But before we get into all the bad news, let's give our 2025 students a shout out. Congratulations to all the 2025 promotees and graduates. You guys did it, accomplished it. You made the next step. You're moving on. You've accomplished your goals. Kudos to everyone that made the big leap this year. I am super proud. I love to see all the pictures that's been going around and all the content and all the stories behind them. So congratulations to the graduates.
Amen, amen. Hey, congratulations for real. For some people, it may have been a harder ride than others. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to them especially. For some people, school is nothing. It's a breeze. But for others, you don't know what they've been through during that time. And, loss happens and a lot of things happen that may throw you off of your journey. So a special congratulations to them. You're all special, and congratulations to getting through it. But for some people, you never know what people are going through, and it may have been harder than. All right. And a special congratulations to these two. This is Jordan Powell. And Jordan, she graduated in May as a valedictorian of her class at the VI Montessori School and Peter Gruber International Academy. And she is one of two young women who have won the St. John who have won the Ruby Rutnick Scholarship. The other is Miss Katori Thomas. She cites her family as a source of inspiration to her. She says, my mother, Melchia Athanaze, has always been there for me, and my father, Kyle Thomas, and my boyfriend have always encouraged me to stay in school, even as a long commute to attend evening classes at UVI became tiring. So congratulations to these two for winning that scholarship. Congratulations to all graduates. All right. Now, let's get into it. Because we got a lot of news today.
Oof. You about to drain me. I could feel it. I could feel you about to drain my goodness.
Hey,
you about to
A word has been trending in the VI Facebook and social media sphere, and that has been rescind, because a lot of stuff has been rescinded or in the works of getting rescinded. First, FEMA has rescinded funding for the Randall Doc James racetrack, citing its former private operation by VIGL during Hurricane Maria. Virgin Islands government is appealing as fiscal year 2026 budget discussions become crucial for alternative funding. Originally, reconstruction of the racetrack on each island was being funded by FEMA. However, FEMA recently sent correspondence to us telling us that the racetrack on St. Croix is no longer eligible for those funds because it was not the responsibility of the territory at the time of the disaster. Ms. Williams Octalian said then it was under the jurisdiction of VIGL, with whom the government of the Virgin Islands has since severed ties. They're going to deobligate those funds, the ODR director disclosed. We sent an appeal to them, and we probably will try to continue to appeal it. But that, as it stands right now, is the decision. Senator Kurt Viale was visibly disappointed. He recalled that efforts were initiated to transfer the funds obligated to St. Thomas for the Clinton E. Phipps racetrack over to St. Croix. A letter was sent from Sports, Parks, and Recreation to FEMA making the request. Was it approved? He asked. When no answer was immediately forthcoming, Senator Viale remarked that it sounds like St. Croix racetrack really has $0 approved. Monies deobligated for St. Croix, St. Thomas monies haven't been approved yet. So I'm so sorry to the race man and the horse man them, but it sounds like the money ain't there anymore. It was, but it is no longer there. What you guys say on this?
You really trying to ruin my joy today. And I don't like that for us. What do you mean? What do you mean FEMA rescinded the funds?
Yeah, apparently when you sever ties with whoever the funds should have gone to do whatever, the federales don't play about their money. When they don't
play about their money.
It's supposed to happen, and it's supposed to go exactly that way. So
So, oh yeah, we did. Yeah, we did separatize with VIGL. So because so I see. Oh, geez.
Exactly. Yeah, VIGL. If I'm not mistaken, they're currently, the government was suing them or has sued them over the racetrack not being completed. So they severed ties with them, and apparently the federales severed ties with the money with the VI. So that's where we are. Hopefully,
so we have to go. Jesus.
We have to go
reapply for funding again.
Apparently, they said that they will go ahead and reapply, and but let's see how that goes, man. On to the next. Lieutenant Governor Roach announces that he has written, this was earlier in the week, just to be clear, has written to Governor Albert Bryan Jr. asking for the wage increases granted to him and to the governor by the Virgin Islands Public Officials Compensation Commission, VIPOCC, to be rescinded. Lieutenant Governor Roach says that although he has made no criticism of the work of the commission, the appointment of its chair to a high-level cabinet position has tainted the work of the commission and now raises questions about its impartiality. Lieutenant Governor Roach, who has just returned from a United Nations-sponsored trip to the Pacific, said he learned of Dr. Haldane Davies' appointment while there through the media and was never consulted by the governor about his decision to appoint Davies to head the Bureau of Economic Research. Such an appointment, Lieutenant Governor said, taints the work of the commission and raises question about the integrity of its recommendations. Lieutenant Governor Roach said he wants to make it clear that he supported the legislation creating the Compensation Commission because he believed that it was an acceptable means of removing the authority from the legislative and executive branches to determine their own salaries, which I agree with. I've never agreed that they should be able to set their own salaries because they will always say yes.
Mm-hmm.
The commission, whose membership consists of private and public sector representatives and human resources professionals, is charged with determining salaries for specific public officials. As far as I was concerned, the commission did the task that was before it without any interference from either you or me. In fact, I had only one single interaction with the commission after it was formed, which was via a Zoom meeting in which the members essentially interviewed me about the job of Lieutenant Governor. They deemed that a necessary step because the job of Lieutenant Governor differs greatly from state to state. As an example, the Lieutenant Governor of Rhode Island has 4 employees under her command, while I started in 2019 with almost 145 positions. My God. Spread over 9 locations on 3 islands. Other lieutenant governors have no statutory responsibilities and do essentially only the work that their governor assigns to them, Lieutenant Governor Roach said in his letter to Governor Bryan. Therefore, because I had no issue with the process, I felt the wage increases were appropriate and would clear the way for higher salaries in the executive branch and eventually all branches of government. We both know that our ability to attract and keep the best talent has been compromised by the relatively low salaries that we are able to offer here, Lieutenant Governor Roach continued. Lieutenant Governor Roach told the governor that he is extremely dismayed by the appointment of Dr. Davies, the Compensation Commission's chair, to head the Bureau of Economic Research. Had you and I consulted about this appointment, I would not have agreed to such a move, as it taints the work of the commission and now makes the wage increases appear an instance of quid pro quo, wage increase for job appointment. Thus, although I have before consented to the wage increases, I am afraid that this circumstance makes me now unwilling and unable to accept an increase in my salary. In fact, I am asking you to take the necessary steps now to rescind the wage increases and restore our salaries to the previous levels. I believe that implementing these raises will further erode the public trust in government, and while trust lost may not necessarily be restored by the rescission of the wage increases, I believe it a step in the right direction, Lieutenant Governor Roach said. Whew, that was a lot. I'm gonna be honest.
When have you not?
That doesn't seem genuine. Like, is that the reason you're rescinding it, or because of massive backlash from the people of the Virgin Islands when they even heard about this, considering that the people of the Virgin Islands do not feel that they are being properly served? You get what I'm saying? and they write letters to each other, like what's that's how they communicate, like. When he said, "Did he?"
It's not that that's how they communicate, but for public record keeping and certain things, you do have to document it.
True. So, what do you think about how it was put across?
Yeah, it just sounds like to me it sounds like because he wasn't looped in the process for the hiring of the other person. Because to me, he should have said, "Hey, the people, this is not the time for increases. The people, we need to get, more people on board. We need to raise wages in other areas. Like, just do that." But to talk about the other appointment and all of that in terms of why the wage shouldn't happen.
What are we talking about? Sorry, I'm late. Marcus, we're talking about Lieutenant Governor Roach sent a letter to Governor Bryan to rescind recent pay raises that got approved recently. So he's saying it's because there was a person appointed over a commission that would control those raises and other economic situations that would take it away from the executive and legislative branch. Cool.
Got
right?
it.
That's cool. However, like most Virgin Islanders know, there has been massive backlash from Virgin Islanders to the senators directly because they live there. Like, if I'm not mistaken, what is his name?
Which one?
Yeah.
Novell Thomas?
If I'm not mistaken, Novell Francis was just confronted this past week in the street in Christian said.
Yes.
Like by a local resident. You know what I'm saying? Over the same thing. So I don't know. They told on themselves grouping that hiring together. I mean, it does look suspicious, but I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that man just got hired and put into that position when he was away until he said something. I know the optics overall were bad. Ja, I don't like that hat you wearing, bro. You on the wrong team. Hey, I ain't on no team. I don't even watch football, to tell you the truth. I just like the hat, man. I'll be honest with you.
Speaking of that, Knicks lost last night.
Knicks.
That was rough.
In the Knicks trash. Thank you for breaking that down for me.
Moving on.
Again, I don't watch sports, so y'all can say what you gotta say. I ain't gonna feel lonely because I ain't on a team. Let me know when St. Croix has a basketball off about it. I'm going to send a Jaguars hat. Jaguars. Jacksonville? Oh. Okay. That's a team you don't hear about often. I love these.
I need one too, Siobhan, and a brown. Like, I give me a brown hat.
I like their colors. It's hard to match them colors, but I do like the Jaguars colors. So you think that the letter, do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's going to make a difference or what?
I mean, the governor already responded and said he don't agree. So
let's get
into this beef in Government House.
But they're going out like they don't be around each other. Well, he always tripping. The only one that'll take vacations more than Neci might be Governor Bryan.
Why you pointing me? I'm not a government employee. Why you looking at me in this? I don't have unlimited PTO days like they do.
That's the difference.
They seem unlimited to me.
True.
And then the holidays too,
And if you're wondering, same difference pays well. Neci got one of her first payment checks from Facebook, right? How that thing was looking? It was looking good, ain't it?
You're so retarded. You're so retarded.
Putting in that work.
Why you put my bills on the streets? That's somebody gonna want me to take
some money or nothing.
Somebody gonna want me to also when you take out right here, you get one of you when you taking me out. I don't want any of that.
Me want nobody to think that you're doing this for free. Like there's disbursements happening.
I mean, technically I'm doing it for free.
Oh, you're doing it for free if you're getting paid. I don't understand.
I mean, I ain't got a W-2 yet, so I don't know.
You just start getting paid like 2 days ago. Relax.
Then we can talk about it.
We're going to get into the governor's response to Lieutenant Governor Roach. Facebook paid me out 2 million views for $2. $2 can't be. You don't cap on Meta, man. $2 can't be.
Yeah, the algorithm conversion, it don't make no sense. I've seen it.
Same thing happened with the hurricane supplies. Once the charges came, all of a sudden they had no idea that material was being stored instead of distributed, which they had to because there were contracts being signed to hold that stuff. But okay, Stevie Wonder himself saw it even when it was at Sunshine Mall. Hey, Venice, you remember when they asked the governor about those contracts that were getting signed? Because once it's over $1 million, he has to sign it. And he was basically like, I didn't know, I just signed it. Y'all remember that day? But again, the views and opinions on this show do not necessarily reflect the views of the broadcast. Let's hear Brian's response. Hold up. Governor Albert Bryan Jr. confirmed to the consortium on Wednesday that all salary increase recommendations made by the VI POCC, that's what I'm going to call it from now on, for officials in the central government have been implemented. Not sure what that response means. While the governor had previously acknowledged the raises for himself and Lieutenant Governor Tregenza Roach, this marks the first time he publicly stated that the full slate of recommended adjustments across central government leadership was enacted. In total, 12 central government public official positions were recommended for salary increases in the VIPOCC study. These include top posts such as the governor, it's up 21.9%, lieutenant governor up 25.7%, attorney general 13.8% increase. Other positions with recommended adjustments include the commissioners of labor up 8.2%, licensing and consumer affairs up 7%, planning and natural resources up 11%, human services plus 2.2%. Okay, also listed were the executive directors of the Career and Technical Education Board. They're up 9.1%. Public Employees Relations Board, 6.3% increase. The Taxi Cab Commission, up 15.3%. Try and catch a taxi bus when you go. Try. As well as the Virgin Islands Inspector General, up 3.4%. Now, the job of an Inspector General is to search for waste, fraud, and abuse. They up that person's salary by 3.4%. And Supervisor of Elections up 13.8%. I don't know how these calculations went on. How this work? All other executive branch positions were recommended to remain at existing salary levels with no increase. The revelation came as Governor Bryan defended the salary adjustments while pushing back against Lieutenant Governor Roach's recent call for the raises to be rescinded. You can't just rescind the law. I'm trying to understand what the issue is with the increase, Mr. Bryan said. He argued that leaders of government instrumentalities, such as WAPA, the territory's hospitals, and the University of the Virgin Islands, earn significantly more, with UVI's president making over $350,000 annually, in addition to other benefits. The report lays out the judicial salaries at $225,000, which they already made before the report was issued. The delegate makes $174,000. Is the report flawed? No one has said that. So it has to be sour grapes because the legislature wasn't adjudicated. This salary hasn't changed in 20 years. If an independent commission isn't trustworthy enough to suggest government salaries, what is? The consortium countered by highlighting the public's frustration, noting that many Virgin Islanders believe the raises are poorly timed, especially as they struggle with stagnant economic mobility, deteriorating infrastructure, and inadequate public services. Several achievements by his administration. This is basically how he rebutted. The territory is paying out a 40-year retroactive debt. It shouldn't have been 40 years. that was previously ignored. We paid back the 8% salary cut imposed on government employees in 2011 under the John P. DeJong administration. College education is free, not completely free. We're subsidizing housing with $100,000 grants. We're rebuilding 400 homes to the tune of $450,000 a pop, he stated. We subsidize the light bills. Can y'all tell? Can y'all tell them light bills being subsidized? We honored every contractual raise it's MAP signed and all the ones we signed. We paid out premium pay and nearly caught up with income tax. They're nearly caught up with income tax. They closed. We saved the retirement system that would be broke today, and we totally paid off our light bill, which the government owed $20 million for years. When in the history of the VI was this true?
So he wants this raise justifiably in his mind because he's doing the job we hire him to do at the end of his term.
Exactly.
So you're doing the job. You're doing the job you said you wanted to do, and you feel like because you're finally starting to trickle out. Because I wouldn't say it's a stream of things that are happening. It's trickling out. You think that's justifiable for the raises?
That was his response. He certainly was trying to, and the thing that he's saying, like, we paid our light bill.
If my screen come off this live, my service didn't drop. I left. I left.
All right. Yeah, the man, that's where he at. He said, look, we almost paid up our tax returns that you were owed. So apparently they saved GERS is what he's saying also. I don't even know if that's true. Did Urban Threads really go out? Is Urban Threads really going out?
It's closed officially May 31st.
It's done. It's done. The wrap. Unfortunately, because I love that place and that is really a staple of Sunny Isles. So Kmart and now Urban Threads. Mind you, Urban Threads and where is Strictly the Best now?
It's where you know where Credit Union was?
No.
By San Farm, across the street, where the laundry is?
Yeah.
It's right there, and it's on the roadside.
So, by my estimation, what's
the sandwich place?
Mentos.
Mentos, yes.
So, with Urban Threads leaving, Kmart being closed as well, the only anchor stores that Sunny Isles has now would be that that's that Office Depot place.
And the Office Depot is still there, yeah.
Office Depot and the dollar store. Other than that, there are no anchor stores. If you can look up what an anchor store is for a mall, whether it's inside or outside, an anchor store is a big store that drives business to that place.
So then here's the food for thought, because the Frederiksted Mall is still closed. Sunshine Mall is still closed.
Yeah.
It's open like 5%. I think there's like a bank and a couple little things. The inside of the mall and the section where Kmart is closed. We're losing Kmart. Urban Threads is closing. There's some other stores that I heard on the verge of closing in Sunny Isles too. I have no confirmation, so I won't say name because I can't confirm. And I think it's because of a raised rent issue that's happening. And with the tariffs and different things, people just aren't getting things in and or purchasing as much as we probably was before. So your two major shopping malls are practically non-existent. But then we're worrying about putting an impose on people shopping online. Like, that's where we're doing with this. So I would just like to wait the press conference to come back and be like, where do you want us to shop now? Because Kmart was to close in August and they pushed the date up to July 5th. After June 30th, Kmart is practically closed. So, I mean, let me know where we're shopping.
One of the problems, Urban Threads wasn't just bringing stuff from overseas and thing like that there, you know. She really quit.
No, I didn't. No.
So, so the thing is, right? Urban Threads not only was shipping things in, they also had a lot of local vendors in there. And the local vendors were getting a percentage of this. They were getting, of course, their sales, and then Urban Threads was getting a percentage off of their sales. So it had local vendors selling out of there also. So now they have no place to sell. But Sunshine Mall is down, but there is the Frederickstead Mall. I can't go too much into it but I'll check into that. Bro, I swear they act like we don't see the articles. It's a lot of untouched business be going on. A lot of untouched talk. The VI News better than the IRS. That taxi cab commission got me itching. That's a huge increase.
Bad. Because I would really like the VI government to send themselves to go out a random day and try catch a taxi and see what happens.
Just in regular clothes. Just
regular clothes. A random day at any time of the day to try catch a taxi.
But there's no taxis. No, it's nothing like when we were home, Marcus. It's nothing like it used to be. Like
nothing.
You can't depend on going out to the road and catching it at all. You'll be out there for a while.
Unfortunately.
Taxi cab when I was home, except at the airport. And that's what they're doing. They're staying there at the airport, trying to catch people as they come on, and then charging the hell out of them. So if you paid WAPA $20 million this year, why they can't afford fuel on a consistent basis in the same year? Questions I need answers. The movies moved across the street, and it's amazing. I'll get them that.
It's still there. Yeah, it's still across the street.
Said debt. Yeah, they got huge amounts of debt. So I don't know why they're getting paid so much, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see how Target is losing billions of dollars. So they said the people higher up would lose money also. That would make sense. Instead, they're giving these people who are losing money raises. That's the problem. Burger King still in that plaza? Burger King?
Who?
Burger King been gone. It's been gone. Burger King, Grandy, anything tried to be in that little area there, gone. Just assume that. And so here's one of the reasons that people are upset. This is according to the source is Keen Cutters, right? So this would take the current governor's salary from $150,000, which would have him ranked at number 28, right? And bring him to number 10. Past Hawaii. He would be making $192,000. He would be making more money than the Hawaii governor, right? More than New Jersey's governor, which New Jersey is the most densely populated state. Whew. $192,000 for a population of less than 90,000 people. That's why people are upset. You want to weigh in or just go? Can you you don't exit out, but you don't exit the chat or okay, that.
You know, when I start to get too frustrated and I don't know if you like the phone's fidgety, I just start to clean and stuff. So I don't move and I'm like, wait, you're on live. You gotta stop what you're doing. Cause I'm just like more like my fidgety kicking in. When my frustration so high is like, you need to just I hear moving stuff.
Does Amazon ship to the Virgin Islands? Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
Hopefully, the governor will not implement that tax on online sales, though. Bingo. That's all most people trying to say. I know even myself come across as frustrated because of math not mathing. How you getting an increase for losing money? Exactly. There's no fixes.
How? Businesses folding by the day. How?
Hey, let me get off the news before. Let me get off the news. Let me take a second to get off the news before Neci go ahead and start moving furniture.
And your favorite road closed again. I just want you to know.
What
Your
airport?
favorite road, and from the court to trade up to it's closed.
Oh man, again.
Okay.
Okay. Is this too serious? Okay, we gonna get off the news because she's stressing.
No, let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You know, I mean, you pre-warned me, but there we go.
All right. So back to the favorite word, rescinding.
Again?
Senate President Milton Potter has announced that the 36th legislature of the Virgin Islands will convene in formal session on June 4th. This is kind of good news, with the purpose of rescinding the implementation of salary increases for executive branch officials, including the governor and lieutenant governor. Mr. Potter acknowledged that raises, which became effective December 2nd, 2024, were based on recommendations issued by the VIPOCC. However, in the absence of legislative action within the 90-day statutory review period, those recommendations took effect automatically, sparking controversy over separation of powers and fiscal oversight. After careful consultation with our legal counsel and emergency leadership meetings, we have determined that legislative action is necessary to address what we believe are fundamental questions of governmental authority and fiscal responsibility, he said. I thought the issue was who they put over the commission. The legislature is expected to consider legislation that would rescind any automatic implementation of VIPOCC's salary recommendations in cases where no formal legislative approval is given. Potter emphasized that the legislature has a constitutional duty to oversee public expenditures and ensure legal procedures are followed. We cannot allow precedents to be established that circumvent the legislative branch's role in fiscal government, he said. Mr. Potter also made clear that legal action remains a possibility should the executive branch fail to rescind the raises prior to the June 4th session. According to Chief Legal Counsel Amos Carty Jr., options available to the legislature include temporary restraining order proceedings, injunctive relief actions, and constitutional challenges regarding separation of powers. We prefer to resolve this matter through the proper legislative process, Potter said. However, we will not hesitate to pursue court action if necessary to protect the legislature's constitutional authority and ensure responsible use of public funds. Potter assured the public that the upcoming legislative session will be conducted transparently, giving residents full access to observe how their elected officials handle what we call a critical issue of governmental accountability. This matter transcends partisan politics. It is about maintaining the proper balance of power in our territorial government and ensuring that public officials are held to the highest standards of legal compliance, Potter said. The legislature said it remains committed to resolving the issue within the bounds of law while safeguarding the integrity of Virgin Islands institutions. So June 4th is the date. 3 days from now.
What you're telling me is this is a systematic failure. So the recommendations went in December. They had a 90-day period. Mm-hmm. The new staff was sworn in January. This was not on the agenda for the 90-day period of things that were prioritized.
No.
So after the 90-day, it went into effect automatically by law. Yeah. And now it's being implemented, and now we're working again retroactively to fix the problem.
Correct. But you know why this is a good story? Because that means that public pressure does work.
It does.
When you put pressure on, this happens. Because they would never have even considered it if there was no pressure on the ground. So when you see people get senators walking and citizens who are upset just coming and, hey, what about those raises? Why do you think that? This is what happened. But this is also why they don't be having town halls. Public pressure works. Bingo. That's all. Oh, I read this already. That's all most people trying to say. I know even myself come across as frustrated because of math not mathing. How you getting an increase for losing money? How do you feel about the Virgin Islanders in the mainland being asked to come back home? I feel that that is also an unintouched statement. You have to set some type of way. You have to implement programs and stuff for us first. Like there are a lot of countries, like Ghana is one. Ghana has a come back home initiative, but it is an initiative. It is a program. They're giving incentives and stuff. They're sweetening the pot to say, come home. That's not what the Virgin Islands is doing. And then when the governor gets on stage and says, we want you to come home to work, like that just hits your ears wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're at the same time saying tourism is our backbone and this is how we gonna market our home, which the whole marketing scheme is carnival and beaches, but then you're gonna say to people who from home, come home so we could break your back with work. Dang on. A passion fruit freako for CRUCIAN. Hey, that sounds good.
That does sound good.
That sounds amazing. Yeah, so that's where we are. So they are talking about rescinding. So people, you need to tune in. They film these. You can watch them go through this whole session and watch the legislature convene. June 4th is the date. Go ahead and look into it. So obviously, people are upset, as you can tell. Hell, Neci's upset right now. Like, but she knew already. She mad again. So obviously, people are upset. Now they're calling for, can the VI governor be removed by the people? How does that process go? How do we as Virgin Islanders start the process? Because he is playing in our faces. He's showing his true intentions. Enough talking. How does the action start? Well, Osha Samuel, glad you asked. Yes, the governor of the U.S. Virgin Islands can be removed from office. The process involves a referendum election initiated by the legislature or a voter petition. A 2/3 vote in favor of recall in the referendum, and that vote must constitute a majority of all participating voters is required for removal. If I'm not mistaken, the majority is 1/3. No, 2/3, sorry. It's 2/3 majority. What's an incentive they could offer you, Judd, that would make you come back home? They would need to offer something to the effect of like a transition job program. You know what I'm saying? Like I come home and you see how they have homes. They have actual homes just sitting over there by Voventa. If they would deal with that there and open those homes and a training facility, and then we go and have job placement, that would be one. I'm not even in government. That's one thing. Like, because the main concerns would be, how am I going to live? Boom, you would offer a place to stay. You would offer a way to get into a job. When, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's two problems that you already solved. Because the problem with the Virgin Islands is not needing a visa or anything like that. Because I'm already a citizen. What do you think about that, Neci? I think that's one right there off the top of my head.
I do think we need to we have made strides to better improve the governmental services that are offered in terms of being able to do things online. We things like the BMV is online, your DLCA, and some other agencies are online, but not enough of them are online. We're not getting enough services done, because I can feel, like you said, there's an incentive, but if I can't come home and get things accomplished, or get things moving, or get my business off the ground, or get inspections done in a somewhat timely manner, or so on and so forth, because again, it's always a who you know kind of situation. That's not how a government should be run. It should run because it has a process in place that anyone can maintain. And so when you have your schools are failing and you have, our education system is behind and our kids are not even in the conversation for excellence, like if I have to bring my kids back with me, what am I going to do with them? Is private school my only option? Do I have to move in an area where the schools are which school is doing better than which to move in that area, so my child can go to the better elementary school. Like that's unfair. I'm not saying that any of them are better than the other, but I'm saying that's how people look at things, and that is the realistic view of what people are seeing. And then I have to do I bring my car or do I buy a local car I got here because you know my good car?
Exactly. Hey, shout out to everybody that got like a luxury vehicle. You bad me, son. You are a beast. You are what? My God. If you got a luxury vehicle and you spending on luxury fixes, woo. I don't want to know why you're doing it. Where do you work? You bad. And John actually tried to come home and ran into some issues himself. So you speak.
I know quite a few people that has.
Make it easier for me to build my home, and I have no issue working. Labor costs are ridiculous. They said it will cost $1 million for a 2,000 square foot house. And if you know, 2,000 ain't much. 2,000 square feet is not much. I can have one built for $350 to $450.
So you could build 2 houses and a little storage room for me someplace for your same $1 million.
Yeah, she bring herself in it.
I need storage room for me. That's all I need.
So, John Bradshaw, so what do you mean? Give you inexpensive materials to build your home, tax breaks on the goods you're bringing in to build a house? What do you mean exactly?
It is expensive to build homes in the U.S. Virgin Islands. St. Croix is the lesser of the three islands that the cost is lowest. I'm sorry. St. Croix is the lowest, and then St. Thomas and St. John being the highest. St. John, for obvious reasons, most of it is a national park, so you can't build on a lot of it. So it is extremely expensive to build.
And it's not like we're saying it's expensive to build and it's less expensive to buy, because that isn't true.
No. It's almost better to build than to buy.
Because what
you're buying, yeah.
That's one good thing I will say about the islands. You don't have to build all at once. You could get money together, start building, get some more money. You know what I'm saying? You could take your time. That's a benefit. That's an advantage.
It is, but taking the time works. But it also, you have to manage for inflation while you're doing that.
True.
Because the cost of things ain't getting cheaper. It's getting more expensive as you're doing it as well.
And I want to take that in, They said it will cost $1 million for a 2,000 square foot house. Like, assess that. Go look into how much a 2,000 square foot house is in the States compared to paying $1 million to build it. And building your house supposed to be the less expensive option. Go look into that, because that's. Neci, did you build your house or buy a pre-existing house? Are there a lot of homes available to buy?
So I built. It was fairly expensive when I did it. It wasn't fairly, but it was expensive to me. Doing things now, it is extremely expensive. Like Jazza, where I did a couple small things, and the cost for those things are crazy. But the cost is the cost, right? And it's not gonna get cheaper if I wait longer. So it's like, you have to make these decisions. And as homeowners, there's a lot of things that people would like to do and be able to do. And the maintenance of homes it's expensive as well. And finding consistent people to maintain your homes for you and doing projects, and finding electricians is a problem. Like, there's just a lot that happens. So yeah, I did build. There are programs in place from the government that I will say is available to help people purchase homes. It does work. It is beneficial. I would tell people to always check and see if you qualify for those programs. Sometimes they might just be selling the land, which is still a start. And then you can just pay off your land and then build after, like Josh said. Or, the land might be fairly inexpensive that you can start to do both at the same time, or whatever that may be. But so there's opportunities, but you have to have something. But I will say, I think they just launched a new program where they're helping you with your down payment costs. So there is a program. I don't know what the name of the program is, so I'm not gonna try to. But I know they just launched a new program that's helping you or covering the cost of your down payment if you qualify, and your some or most of your closing costs. Sorry. So that's a big help to a lot of people who's trying to buy homes right now. And that just happened recently. So that's a good benefit that's out at the moment. But how did you hear about that, Ja? Have you heard that before? No. So like it's like where are these things that should be like constantly in people's ear? Like this is happening. We have this. Come qualify. Come do it. It should be just like how rumors spread. These things should be spreading too. Like we need to make a better effort of putting this information out there. If you want people to see it and come back home and whatever, you have to continuously be feeding people the positive and beneficial reasons why they should.
So in the interest of not making everything negative, right? Like there are, like Neci said, there are a lot of programs, and it's not just for getting a house. There's programs and commissions and stuff like dedicated to small businesses, and like they want businesses being built in like town, in east and in west, and in particular zones, and they'll help you get the loans and help you all of that. There are programs in them. And the only reason I've heard about these programs is because I've tuned in to the Bush Tea in the Morning show, and they've come on there. So check out the Bush Tea in the Morning show, because yes, it has a lot of guests on there that are very informative. And any other way, you might not hear about it, because it was a workshop for small business owners, and there was real estate workshops and all this other stuff and programs that they're doing. If you're a first-time home buyer, and there's all these programs, but you don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
I don't care. I don't know if I would say to hide the programs, man. There's a marketing issue in the Virgin Islands.
Yes, I think it needs to be centralized better, where the departments are feeding it into one particular place, and that person is their media, and that person is just responsible for putting out all the constant info of the government all the time. I know it usually falls on the departments to advertise their own events, and that this should still happen, but there should still be a central place that broadcasts these things socially, radio, news, everywhere, constantly. Yes. Because it's a constant, ever-changing situation. Every department launches programs at different times for different phases, for different initiatives. So it's a constant thing. And I wish we can get there, and I wish we jump on opportunities to make it more realistic. But yeah, like I heard about it because someone was telling me about it. I didn't hear it on the radio. I didn't hear it on the news or social media. Someone told me about it, and that they went to do it and they signed up, and and I was like, what are you talking about? That's a great program. Why don't more people don't know about it? I know people who are trying to buy homes that they can't buy because they don't have enough for the clothes, and they're like, send them down there. And I'm like, that's not how that should have worked out. But word of mouth does help, and it is a form of promoting, as a form of communicating, but this should be everywhere all the time until the funding is done.
So I've noticed years ago, there is a hole that needs filling as far as pause in advertising and promotion. And this goes for everything Virgin. This goes for events, for programs. Like, where do you go if you want to know about a thing? The thing about the Virgin Islands, okay, we've gotten away from listening to the radio like we used to. We've gotten away from watching cable TV and stuff like we used to. So now it leaves a hole in how you find out about where and when, right? But we're outdated in the way that we go about it. So they'll still be doing it, like putting it in the newspaper and on the TV commercials and stuff like that, when social media really is the wave, right? But they're not in that, and there's not one central location to find out about events. There's not one central location to find out about housing programs and small business associations and who do you talk to, and so if you don't know, you could end up getting very frustrated just trying to find the information. You could give up just trying to, because one person will send you here, you go there, they close, they only open every second Thursday, and then you go to another place, they say that program don't exist. Like it's something that we need to work on. And I've seen it for myself, because this is another thing. If you want to build or buy or get a house, you need to understand contractors are an issue in the States. Take that and multiply that by 3 home. So everything moves slower in the Virgin Islands. So you have to take into account, hey, it would take me 2 months to do this home in the States. You can't think that way if you're wanting to move to the Virgin Islands. You can't. Everything is on Caribbean people time. These are things that you need to consider. Not trying to be negative, just letting you know. You need to consider, listen, if you're in a rush to get something done, you probably shouldn't do it in the Virgin Islands. That's real. If you're in a rush to even get food, you need to make it yourself. So Marcus asked, why did you build versus buy? Was it costs?
I ended up building because initially I was in the Virgin Islands Finance Authority program eons ago, like 15, 20 years ago, where they were doing it for first time. They have a first time homeowner program, and they used to give you classes. I don't know if they still give the classes, but back then they used to give you classes about home ownership. And then after the program was done, they put you like on this list of when they have home ownership opportunities that come about through their programs, that you'll be available to be. They'll contact you to say, hey, ABCD, whatever. So for me, I was already on the list, and so they had a few communities that they've built, that they've been doing a good job with doing home ownership for. And so initially I had qualified. I qualified, but I was on the list, and then it came to a point where I wasn't able to buy from them, but I could still buy the lot. So I got the lot from them and then did the loan to build, and it came out cheaper than if I purchased outright. So that's why I ended up building.
All right, and keep in mind, if you want to know, like if you just join, right, and you want to know what we're talking about, I tried to put down below like the question or the comment that we're replying to, so you could look there and see.
Yeah.
Import taxes must be reduced. Finding quality workmanship who are trustworthy are other issues. So I spoke to several reputable contractors, and that is where I got the metrics of 1 million for that much square foot of home. And those are all programs that could be getting implemented and may inspire people to come back home. You know what I'm saying? Like if there's a need, you could start by trying to fill the need, but did it overlook those things? I never heard of that program, Neci. Yeah, you damn
Yeah,
sure.
it's a first-time homeowner program. It was under the Virgin Islands Housing Finance Authority. That was a while ago. I don't know what the program it consists of now, so you'd have to go on their website, see what it's about, and reach out to them if that still is in play to see what programs they have over there. But they mostly cater to first-time homeowners.
Neci, side question. How many spectacles you have at need? Just being nosy. You got less spectacles.
Why are you out of my business though, John? I'm trying to be helpful here and you just minding my business in the background. You see how Crucian people are being?
It's the fact that he said spectacles.
Is your Crucian people or not? They just embrace.
Hey, again, she can't see that she'll be the problem. That's another thing.
Clearly, I can't see at all.
I think and those are not just for show. Those are prescription glasses. I think you guys spoke on that in a previous episode, that some of the local government agencies are scattered throughout multiple office locations just to get. Yes, that's a fact.
Yes,
that's a fact. Doc, there might be an office that you pass every single day and didn't know it was there because there's no sign.
No. I'll give you a great example of that. Ja, where is the passport office? Do you know the passport office in Sikora?
I have no idea.
The passport office, to me, has always been in Christiansted. My entire life.
Okay.
So recently not recently, like this year, I had to renew a passport. I think it was for my son. So me, knowing I was in Christiansted, I went to Christiansted. Because passport isn't something you renew often. It's something you renew every 5 or 10 years. So you're not paying attention to that. So when I go to Christiansted, apparently the office was moved to Frederiksted. So I had to race down to Frederiksted because it was by appointments only.
Mind you.
And when I get there, they were like, oh, we've been moved to Frederiksted. And I'm like, I don't come to this office that often for me to know you down here. It's not something I need every day or every year. So the fact that it was even like, oh, we've been here is like, how am I supposed to know? Exactly. If you advertise it when you move, great. But that's something you have to keep advertising at some point because people don't need that very often to know that happened. And then it happened to 3 other people I know after me that did the same thing that I did. And then they got the same answer. And I'm saying to myself, like, that, don't you see that's an issue? Exactly. People don't need passports every day. It's something that you need every 5 to 10 years. If it's twice a year, whatever. I mean, not everybody's going to be aware, but you have to advertise it like, hey, just a reminder, the passport office is now located at XYZ. That's all it is. You know, because people don't know these things that often. No. That's not my spectacles.
Now, keep in mind, right? So you're on an island. You don't know how to find out about where things are because you can't just GPS it like you're in the States. So, and also to add even more problems, signage. So the place might not have a sign, and then there are no street signs like there should be. There are some, not nearly enough. So imagine you trying to get stuff done, and every time you ask for directions to a place, they tell you, hey, go down about to the stoplight by where the pharmacy used to be, and then you make a left, and there's gonna be a big tree with only 3 branches, and then you turn right, and there's gonna be a chicken, not the red one.
I will say though, I will say that is most Caribbean island experience.
No,
I'm not saying it's right, but I've been to quite a few, and that is my experience every time.
I agree.
It's always turning here, come by the yellow building, up by the road, by the right, and then you're gonna pass the school, and then you'll see the jail on the left on the corner, and it's always
No, I agree with you. That's true. In the Caribbean, that's a thing. They said, I remember like 6-7 months ago, they said they were working to get street signs everywhere from on the whole island. I have not seen that work getting done.
The street, like them on the highway, just fixed properly yet either. What are you talking
about? My problem to be this, right? Me who don't live there, every time I have to ask for directions, the directions I get is the place that does not exist anymore. Hey, you remember where such and such used to be? No. So now I'm done. You can't get no more directions because the place that ain't there no more, you didn't know where it is when it was there. So it ain't there no more, so I can't direct you. Passport office is back east now as of a couple months ago. So it went from one side of if you're listening from abroad, east, when they say east, that is the opposite end of the island. It went west to the other end, and it's back to the okay. Barbados is the worst because they talk it fast for the direction.
Listen, you gotta make a turn up a road, and you see it go, but hey, you got.
I bet you get an accent.
I know enough Bayesian to tell you. My gosh.
But that is a Caribbean thing. I'm just saying, man, it's 2025, dog.
Agreed.
Can we please get past that, please? Whew. All right. So people vex, right? People upset. So this is trending now. Lord, we need a fire burn in the Virgin Islands like now. This is too much. Neci, do you agree? They trying to take it back to the 1800s?
No. Because they're going to be the same one. Ain't going to want to come outside to rebuild nothing. So no.
You see, we don't think too far ahead, right?
No, we don't. Because when you want Bandung must build back. And who going to build it back? You coming back to build it back for free? You coming to put your labor into it so we can get what we want? Or you going to just keep, or you going to come back? And I'm not saying the person directly that posted it. I'm just saying, are you going to come back with a new post that says when they're going to rebuild the Virgin Islands after the fire burn? Or you going to come, you know what I mean? Like, saying it is one thing. A revolution is needed. I agree. A fire burn. I don't think people understand what happened when the fire burn happened. I don't think people understand how many lives were affected and for months, almost like a year after the fire burn, they burned everything. But you see, we were already struggling. So for us, we just kept struggling. But it was not it wasn't it was to inconvenience the system, but it inconvenienced the whole island as well. It inconvenienced the whole supply chain of vessels coming in and out. It was a disruption of an entire process for months. I can't even go without Wi-Fi for the day.
Oh. Don't apply to FEMA after this fire burn, okay?
FEMA ain't approving nothing. You will see FEMA got $0 in their budget this year. Okay? And the red states is who to have the most FEMA need. Mm-hmm. So don't ask FEMA. You can ask FEMA, but they ain't got nothing to give you.
Exactly. They ain't got it.
They ain't got it.
I've said it several times. I feel like our people, our community especially, we tend to have a lot of anger and fire, and you know what I'm saying? We will be angry.
Yes.
Because that energy is in us. However, we don't know how to direct it.
And it's warranted. It's a warranted feel to want to do. I get it. It's warranted.
Hey, big up VI34 Comics. Them man just started and they killing it, dog. They are killing it. I'm loving the cartoons. I'm loving the comics, and I love political satire. And you're doing a great job, man.
Is that who made the things I sent you the other day?
Yes.
Okay.
So big them up. I go ahead and follow VI340 Comics. And like I said, we are guided missiles with no GPS. Think about this. We have all this fire, energy, and don't know who to hit. We're just misguided in our directions, and we're missiles with no real direction. So in turn, we end up with no purpose. We end up hitting everybody and at random, right? So you want to burn down the place, right? Do you understand back in the fire burn, like damn near half the population knew how to build a house? Do you know that? Because
and people did die during that fire burn. People lost their lives.
Horribly. You mad because you're currently gone, but you ain't considering what's gonna happen when you burn down the entire island? We gonna do wade water in the beach for days? Like, think, people. Like, after you done burn down the place that's having trouble rebuilding and repairing itself now, who gonna build after? Them people used to poop outside. You don't know how to fix a leaky faucet. What are you gonna do after? You can't change a tire, but you want to burn down the entire island?
We ain't even like when the road them black and we got detour around to go where we need to go.
That's the
I
thing.
mean, rightfully so. We're a generation of convenience, right? We like
Correct.
convenience. So I'm not trying, but Firebun is a real different vibe.
Exactly. That means
Don't
every
burn down
single
my
plant,
road.
animal,
I like
everything.
my house. Please.
Not sure if you all knew of the student journeyman program. When I took architectural drafting, I did work for the school and community, which paid a part of my final grade. Some of the masons, plumbing, and carpentry students worked on the project. Now that's the thing. I don't even know if those programs still around. Do they have student journeyman programs still in high school and stuff?
I don't know if it's called that, but I think most of the classes are fall under CTech. Now CTech manages all of the trade classes that students are taking. So I would say that it's not called that. It's probably under CTech.
Gotcha. And this Aya Firebun talk is as useless as this generation of mongoose on island that don't fight snakes. Ain't gonna do ish
Ooh.
but fence. Here's the thing though. Hey, he's up off the mongoose them. Not too much of the mongoose them.
Ooh. Our mongoose has become acclimated to its territory and did not have to defend itself against predators. Then y'all want to leave predators here and be the mongoose supposed to like just know what to do? They instincts them gone.
Them
That
snakes
mongoose is like 10 generation Crucian. They ain't got no instincts for no snake.
them snakes were not the snakes them other people brought. You hear me?
Yeah,
These are not venomous snakes. These are constrictors. They were not taught that. Just like you weren't taught to change a tire. Them, listen, ease up off the mongoose.
Yeah, these mongoose were 10 generation Crucian deep. They know nothing about all them things. Snake and thing.
I see one will fighting with a chicken. Like they lost. You see what I'm saying? They no guidance. Why you mad at the chicken? But anyway, that person though, Jada is correct. Let me find it. Firebun talk is as useless as I get the general statement and I agree.
Yes.
Now, Disha had said something about fetting. She thinks that we need to boycott Carnival one good time, and that would make a difference. We think about that because we love to fet, you know. Once they give us a good fet, we forget about all the other problems we got.
What is the boycotting of the Fed its intended purpose to do?
I would assume that its intended purpose would be to lose money, then wake up the government officials like, okay, they really mean business.
But who's losing the money? Because is it the government is losing the money?
The government would lose money in tourism and the economic revitalization that happens during that short period. But ultimately, who would be the sufferers?
I don't think because unless we're saying unless we're saying that we're reappropriating the funds for Carnival for something else to affect the government, like I could get it, but like these boot owners are local people. The people who making these costumes are local people who come together to make these troops and put these costumes on, and the kids and stuff. So I'm trying to be very like, what is the intended purpose? Who is the target? Once we do that, what is the message we're going to put out in replace of this to draw attention? So it's like, you know what I mean? Like just saying that you're gonna boycott it, there needs to be a more direct, just like how with a come back home thing. You can't just like, what is the intended target? Where is it? Where are we focusing the energy? What is the message for the boycott that we're going to put out? What is what we want people to capture about what we're trying to convey? Like that has to happen.
Yeah. Watch how they done cost via. They will then cry because we won't have any help coming in to rebuild. Exactly. You cannot be one hand, you get a torch to burn the place, and then with the next hand, you're asking for help. Like you can't do both. And I mean, gonna say nothing about Via. I mean, you know, but
you said Via?
Yes, via
We don't even have Via no more. It's called One
One
Communication.
Communications. I ain't gonna say nothing about via because I
Trash.
need a
I
sponsorship.
don't have it. I heard it's trash.
Same difference need a sponsorship, so we gonna say nothing.
I said I've heard.
I know.
And primarily because I think they moved their customer service to a different island
Mhm.
and then when you call for customer support, it's hard to communicate with who you're contacting to get support. I think that's one of the biggest complaints I've heard since this transition. So
Devon says that boycott would be as effective as a
you
letter.
check what I'm saying? Like what is the point and who are we aiming to focus? Are we saying we're not gonna go to the parade to watch the kids in the parade? Like what are we, you know what I mean? Like what are we doing?
So that's the thing though. I think we are scared of losing that inconvenience. I do believe in my people. I believe that fireborn energy is still there. Is that fireborn what we need? No. We need to shift tactics because again, it is 2025. There are other options and other avenues. Them people at the time did not think that they had any other avenues. They were working for free. They were enslaved peoples.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We are not in that position. It's a different type of slavery, so we need a different type of movement. Big up to our ancestors, because I'm not one of those people that would be like, I ain't my ancestors. That's a lie. I am every bit my ancestors. I am every bit their cries and their pride, their tears, their joy. So I would never say that. But times have changed. We need to be looking at different things, and people are scared of sacrifice. I will never forget when them people were boycotting WAPA and it was only 2 men outside. Where were you then? We need that energy. The energy that you have to fight your own because they stepped on your shoe or because the price on a FET was too much or because the VIP wasn't good. Where's that energy when it comes time to sacrifice and make a real substantive change? Yeah. That's what we need. We gotta stop letting people make money in the VI and invest in other people's businesses. You got help me out here.
Expand on that.
Yeah, expand on that. There. What do you mean by that? There. Let me, because I don't want to reply to it because I may be misunderstanding.
Yeah, because if you're telling me you want to do something like we're not paying WAPA for like 3 months, or if you're telling me that we're not registering our vehicles, or whatever, like like what you have to be doing something to impact the government itself.
Exactly.
For a boycott to be, and for it to be effective. So boycotting festival, while I know it does bring money into the territory, most of that doesn't go into the pocket of the government. I think it brings a spotlight for the government. It brings a spotlight to the island that they benefit from. But the funding of all these Airbnbs and car rentals and all those things is not going into the government's pocket per se. So,
Venice, come on. We want to hear from you. Can you tell us what you mean by this so we could get a better understanding? We gotta stop letting people make money in their VI and invest in other people's business. Can you help us understand a little bit more? John says, I would love to see a plan, long-term, short, and a phased approach to change we need at home. John, ain't these the kind of things you do? Ain't you PMP certified and them kind of thing? You are Six Sigma type of, like, what a plan, John?
Think about with all caps, just in case.
Hey, I ain't gonna lie, I would vote for you because I know I've been wanting to get this man on the show. That's one of the most interesting men in the world.
John, isn't he?
Listen, John will smoke a cigarette, drink some scotch, and then the next day you hit him up and he like, yeah, I'm building a boat. I'm building a boat down in my basement right now.
John's a sweetheart.
The inner program manager in me wants to see a goal. Well, okay, how would you do it? Let's start there. Yes. How would you do it? The first phase, nothing too long, the first phase, long term, where would we start, John?
And when you drop your program, drop how they can reach you, because I know it's going to be an effective program and it's going to make sense. So,
I know what you're talking about. He don't come with no BS.
No, he doesn't.
All right.
We had more news. Oh my God.
What? We got one more. All right, because I wanted to give an update on this.
Okay.
Estate Costa Verde. If you don't know, there was a situation at Estate Costa Verde where a young lady, she was detained by a resident of Estate Costa Verde in St. Croix because she had went in through the the exit gate instead of through the entrance. She was trying to meet a friend, right? Well, she was detained by that person and a member of the actual, a person that actually worked for Cuesta Verde property. She also helped detain, and there was police called and all of that. So I just want to give a quick update. Nia Sylvester filed an action for false imprisonment, intentional infliction of emotional distress, negligent infliction of emotional distress, and defamation. She levied the charges against Terry Parker and Marsha Daniel. If you don't know, Terry Parker is the guy I was calling Cuesta Verde Shaggy because he looks like Shaggy from Scooby-Doo, like really bad. The civil suit stems from a March 25th incident that went viral after footage of the aftermath was published on the consortium. On that day, Ms. Sylvester says she drove to the townhouse complex to deliver event invitations to her sorority sister. She entered the Cuesta Verde gate and parked in the parking lot to await her friend's arrival. Again, she entered through the wrong gate, though. Unbeknownst to her, she had entered through a gate designated as exit only, the lawsuit claims. She was also at the wrong location, as her friend did not reside at Cuesta Verde. So all of this happened, and the friend didn't even live there. Ms. Parker was leaving the gated community at the time Ms. Sylvester drove in. He allegedly drove back into the parking lot, coming to a stop next to her vehicle, and began to aggressively question Ms. Sylvester as she sat in her vehicle, the lawsuit says. According to the civil complaint, this hostile behavior caused Sylvester, who is a young 22 years old and alone at the time, to feel uncomfortable and threatened, especially since Parker had another adult individual in his vehicle. Ms. Sylvester decided to call her mother for help. While she waited, Mr. Parker went into what appeared to be an office, the lawsuit says, and emerged with Ms. Daniel, who the court filing alleges is an employee or contractor working on behalf of the Cuesta Verde Townhouses Association. As Ms. Daniel approached, Ms. Sylvester rolled down her window and said that she felt threatened by Mr. Parker, whose questioning she reportedly described as hostile and racist. Ms. Daniel responded that this was par for the course. This is how we are with all residents, she's alleged to have said. Eventually, Ms. Sylvester's mother, former Senator Alicia Barnes, arrived at the closed Cuesta Verde gate, and so did Ms. Sylvester's friend. She handed off the invitations to her sorority sister and went back to her vehicle to leave the premises, only to discover she was locked in. According to the court filing, Mr. Parker and Ms. Daniel stood next to his Jeep conversing, and he reportedly began taking photographs of Ms. Sylvester's car. The photo, Ms. Sylvester says she pointed out that she was wearing attire branded with the government department in which she works and carrying identification proving her government employment. The standoff reportedly continued with the two women outside the gate, pleading for Ms. Daniel to open the gate and let Ms. Sylvester out. The Cuesta Verde employee allegedly responded, "We are not letting you out because you don't belong here. We are not letting you out because you don't belong here." All right. Once she realized that Miss Daniel intended to punish her daughter for mistakenly entering Cuesta Verde townhouses, Miss Barnes called the police. It was a resident who noticed the obvious illegality of the conduct of Parker and Daniel. Keep in mind, what she did was not illegal. It was wrong. It was not illegal. There's a difference. And quietly opened the gate to let Sylvester out, says the court filing. That gate, although allegedly designated an exit, is repeatedly left open to the public, according to the lawsuit. Visitors routinely drive through the gate to access the Cuesta Verde townhouse's property. Ms. Sylvester says she spent around 20 minutes falsely imprisoned on the property of Cuesta Verde townhouses in front of her mother and sorority sister by an employee of the Townhouse Association. In an interview with the consortium following the incident, Mr. Parker stated that he was new to the territory and very concerned about safety. A comment the lawsuit interprets as implying that he views Ms. Sylvester and others who resemble her as a threat. Parker's comments to the media were racist, false, and defamatory, the civil complaint argues. Ms. Sylvester and Ms. Barnes are asking the court to award damages for emotional distress, lost wages, physical injury, and medical expenses. They are also asking to be awarded punitive damages, pre- and post-judgment interest, costs, and any other relief that may be deemed proper. Whew! All right, I just had to get out.
I'm glad you did. You feel better?
Yeah, I do, because that didn't need to happen. Tell you the truth, none of that needed to happen.
It was a big one.
And like, you try and be Batman while saying that you're scared. That has never made sense to me. John says the inner program manager and me want to see a goal. I'm not Leroy Jethro Gibbs. That's a good one. Leroy Jethro Gibbs was the old NCIS head, and he was building a boat in his basement and drinking scotch while he was doing it. I don't know how you measure and cut and do all that in your basement while drunk, but Leroy Jethro Gibbs used to do that. The businesses that have made money off of the territory but make investments other places, the hotels, phone and internet service, etc. Then is replying to, we gotta stop letting people make money in the VI and invest in other people's businesses. I hope, okay, so we need to invest in VI people's businesses for sure. I think that's what you're saying. I agree, because I made a post about hotels. Like, what's the point of us petitioning to get hotels on island when hotels pay low? The owner probably don't live there. You know what I'm saying? All our money is going off island, or a majority of it. And like, how does that help Virgin Islanders?
But you also can't control where a person invests their money. You can control where you invest, where you spend and invest your money. So even if you're shopping locally and you invest locally as a local person, I could reinvest my money somewhere else, like what they're saying, because you don't control that aspect of it either. So it's one of those things. Now, if you're investing something illegal or immoral or one of those things, like I can't keep supporting your business. That we need to make that known, but you can't control people's support and invest their business in.
Well, definitely not. But the VI government can definitely direct where the investment goes, and their first priority should be investment into the VI and its people.
Yes. But they're investing into businesses to bring to the VI. But when those businesses are here and they're investing outside of the territory, they don't control that aspect either.
But they can't control where the money goes. However, we know if you bring a hotel from a person who is not a local, they don't live on island, chances are the money is not getting reinvested into the island. And then we know the average rate of pay for someone that works at a hotel, it's low. And in a place where the cost of living is high, that math ain't mathing. Like Vinny said, that math ain't mathing. Like, why would you want more of those? We need more local businesses that are going to pay decent wages and invest back into the people that are there. The government has the right to end that contract, though. They also have the right to not look into that, like hotels and stuff where the money gonna go off island. Also, Neci sent me 2 problems to research, and I will give you all a short plan for it.
Hey,
you got any ideas?
I'll think of something.
All right, what are you saying?
We have enough problems anyway.
I'm not letting you leave because you're not supposed to be here. You check what I'm saying? That Cuesta Verde incident. That makes sense? That's the opposite of what you're supposed to do. All right. Neci, you may want to leave out and come back 10 minutes from now, because I know this is going to piss you off.
What is happening? If I leave, I ain't coming back. I'm not coming back. Move on.
But how about
I am politics out today. If it's more government politics, It's
not. I done. All the news done. But how about if we have promoters, when they come in and throw big parties back home, have them contribute to a school or community. I know we can't make them, but something like that. Just a thought, because how many promoters live home? We can't, you know, you can't make them, like you said, you can't make them donate to it, but you can also allocate funds from those type of things.
Incentivize.
You could make gentle suggestions, that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can do stuff like that. If they could find ways to raise their salary to almost 200,000, I think this shouldn't be a hard sell. That's assuming the promoters actually make money or break even, which leads us back to what we were talking about earlier. There is a gap that needs filling as far as promotion, period. But earlier this week, or no, earlier last week, before we went on break, I had made a post, right? And the responses from that post, same difference can be controversial. This one that I posted, I did not believe it was going to be controversial at all. I legitimately, foolishly thought that this would be non-controversial. I turned out being wrong. Can you tell me, please, just answer this one question. What do you understand when you see this? What do you think this means? When you see that, what does that mean? What do you think it means? Okay, I guess I'll go to the comments. All right, what do you... What do you
because
think?
you and I know what it means, but I don't know where it got misconstrued.
It went very left, and I know people think that I be rage baiting. I do, but this wasn't one of them, which was funny.
No.
You know what I'm saying? This wasn't one of them.
It wasn't funny to me. I want you, that post made me extremely upset, and it made me extremely sad. Because these are the men in our community.
Yeah. It means
and
don't.
That bothered me immensely.
What does real men don't put hands on women mean? What does that mean to you? You see something like that, what does it mean? Darren says there needs to be venues that can hold large sizes of people upwards of... We can't even get them people to come to the show.
We can't even finish Polly Joseph Stadium. What are we talking about? Man...
That's assuming promoters actually make money or break even. It's very difficult these days, man. Promoters often take losses. Facts.
Mm-hmm.
Only boys hit women. It's simple English.
It wasn't.
It really was. Because they love what they do, and to have parties and jams, sometimes they go for long-term gain.
That might be gain. Maybe gain.
I will not be firebound with anyone talking shippiness. I will not firebound with anyone talking shippiness on that post. The F. Good day. Hey, look, watch it, turn on. Hey, nice to see you. Thanks for coming through. Can't even unite on simple-ish. It's true. So, for those who just tuned in, what does this mean when you see it? What do you understand it to mean? When you see real men don't put their hands on women, what do you see? What do you understand it to mean? Because this is what happened after. This is the responses I get. Let me say what it meant to me. I was okay. First of all, I have daughters, and my daughters, like, I don't think you should be putting hands on them. And I don't mean like when they ask you to, or you're kissing and they're touching and you're intimate. Obviously, I don't mean that, which is what I thought. It was obvious. But again, I gave the benefit of the doubt, and I was wrong because common sense ain't common. And I tried to let y'all have it. And this is one of the reasons why I went on social media break, because a lot of are dumb. But what I meant was, like, usually I don't even put the real men thing, right? Because I understand that sometimes that's used to gaslight men into like, you should do this or you ain't a real man. That's not what I meant here. I thought this was an easy thing. Like, what I meant was, don't Ike Turner your girl. Don't just come home, be upset, and then back her across the room. That's what I meant. And I thought it was understood. However, these were some of the responses. Depends. Now, just saying the impossible was to happen and she stays putting her hands on you, what do you do? Is self-defense the issue I'm speaking on? There also is a difference between getting her to stop and fighting her like a man. I thought that was common sense. If somebody's hitting you and you hit them back, or you stop them or you grab them or something, you're trying to get them to stop hitting you. That's not just putting your hands on them. Right? Tell whomever authored this to quit simping. Unless she asks, jokes aside, I'll be the one to say this is circumstantial, but in general, I agree. Unpopular opinion, there are abusive women. Men should defend themselves and leave depending on the level of abuse he's getting. My mom raised me on, if you are a man enough to hit a man, I will come off this one was funny. I will come off of the topic a bit because this is what society has done to us. Tell us what all a real man's supposed to do while limiting what is a real woman. They say a real man don't let woman pay bills. A real man spoils his lady, not a real lady. A real man spoils, stays home. A real man, yada, yada, yada. All men are created equal in the context of the Lord. However, there's no blueprint and none like you. I understand the real man argument. However, he dismissed the actual basis of what I was saying. That's why I didn't like. You dismissed what I was saying for real. Our community has seen women getting abused over so many years and generations that they will make excuses to validate the abuse happening. It's beyond sad. It's another form of oppression and it's being treated as a norm. As long as a woman don't put her hands on him, respect goes both ways. Here's the thing, right? Domestic violence is becoming too normalized in our community, especially in the Caribbean, right? My issue as a man with daughters, violence begets violence. If I'm on the side of you shouldn't beat up a woman, and you come with an argument that is either, but, what about, but what if, let's talk about the impossible, chances are you're on the other side of the argument. On this one, there's only two sides. So what are you saying? And if you're violent with one of them, what must I now do? All right, here we go. Can't even unite on simple ish. Nobody should put hands on anyone, period. Wait, there was controversy with that post? Yes. Yes. That was my most controversial post of that week. But I feel it's an ego thing with abusers. But it's crazy to me that you would get on a public platform and debate it, though. Like you're outing yourself, in my opinion. Wow, it's really crazy. Bingo. Men protect women. That's what I understand it to be. That's a part of it. Don't hit no woman. That's what I thought I was saying. And I ain't talking about defending yourself even. That's another topic. First of all, if you're getting abused, you should leave. Let me leave it there. Let me leave it right there. I think the primary problem is that VI people operate with emotion without regulation and desensitize and embrace toxicity. Again, another example of us being guided missiles with no GPS. We take all this anger and we displace it. We put it out into the world. You take it home with you and you put it out into your girl. You go ahead and you put it out into your children. All this displaced anger, and then these other emotions we repress. The only emotion it seems like with a lot of us men that we know how to express fully is anger, and we need to get away from that. Crazy comments. These people ain't serious. Somebody blocked me, by the way. One of them commenters actually blocked the page. These comments are from men in the VI, truly? Yes. Or are these things coming from comments in the States? These were all VA people. And crazy part, they don't even realize when they give these comments, the ladies are watching and wondering why women don't want to talk to them by the gas stations and in public. The thing about it is, there are some women upholding and they're with these men. I remember I was in a TikTok live and they were discussing some stuff, and the dude was basically came on and say, look, if you do such and such, I go, you know what I'm saying? And like he was telling me how you gonna fight the girl and this, and I exited, stage left. More both ways ish. Men must be able to control themselves, have the emotional intelligence to communicate, unless we're talking back shots. That's the only hands. All right. A man's strength is not the same as a woman's. Stop making reasons. Walk away. I just tell my son, walk away. The woman ain't worth it. Your life will be ruined, job-wise, and you'll be labeled as this forever. It's another reason why men, we need to get a hold of our emotions. Like, we really need to get a hold of our emotions and learn how to deal with them and process them. All of the emotions, not just anger, all of them, and know how to exist outside of being angry and trying to conquer everything in our domain. Man, it's disappointing. Both ways. The moment a woman decides she needs to fight me to get her point across, I'm out. My damn self. Be wrong with y'all. Y'all N-words, why you even entertain BS like that? Because that's how they man think for real, though.
Yeah.
That's what they think.
It's very scary.
The minute a man decides that I'm a punching bag, I exit left with the quickness, as you should. Dating pool has copper yellow pissing. It's not just physical abuse, it's verbal also, though. Now, the verbal abuse thing, yes, we need to get away from it. Women, y'all need to learn how to control them tongues too, you know. Like I could take a punch, but sometimes some of the stuff I ought to say hurt worse. So that's one of them both sides things that I usually don't be on the both sides vice versa thing, but like what? Some of the things women will say will really cut deep. Like it will slice harder than a knife, man. So we need to get a hold of our tongues. There's a lot of power in that. Like, and not even just in like intimate male-female relationships, like your relationships with your children. Some of the stuff that you say to them, they'll carry that. And then a lot of us still, like, I don't know a person right now who ain't still trying to process or deal with some trauma. And a lot of it was emotional. A lot of it was words that we received. Like sometimes you have to really think when you're talking down on yourself or whatever, or you're giving yourself negative self-talk. Sometimes it's not even your voice enough. It could be your father's voice when he used to sit out there. It could be your mother's voice when she used to say that thing. Like a lot of us are dealing with all this trauma, emotional, physical, and especially physical abuse in the VI in the Caribbean period. It's a different level of abuse because sometimes we allow too much and we let it go as that's what they knew and it was discipline. A lot of it was abuse.
It can be all of it.
It can be. My best advice to men is please get platonic women friends. All of these men need to grow and get out of their toxic circles. Women in my life have accelerated my growth in so many ways. They do. And everybody also please share the men's health episodes from Dialogue 340 to all the men in your life. It can make a difference. I go back and look into that. They also have a commercial about mental health issues and where you should contact. So I go look into that. Darren, please tell them where they can actually find it, please. Go to therapy.
Please. And I know it's, please.
Go ahead. You know it's what?
I said, I know it's not easy, but please.
But do you feel most of us were taught to not be emotional because they would call you soft because you have feelings? I do think
Yes.
so. Yes.
We were all taught to be unemotional creatures, to take up limited space, especially our men. They were told not to cry and suppress their feelings and to man up and all these negative things that we implement mentally into these men, and then we're upset that they don't turn into thriving men when they become older. Some do, some don't. We don't know which way the coin's gonna turn for the person you're feeding those seeds into when it blossoms. So we have to be careful what we're watering in these children, because it's going to blossom into something.
I want to say something. So keep in mind too, right? Sometimes, sometimes in certain family dynamics, the most toxic person was not the one that was absent in it. Sometimes in these mother-father relationships, because we know in our community there is too many men. I don't know the number there at this point. I don't know the stats. I don't have it, but there are too many men that are absent. But sometimes they're not even the one negatively affecting the child for real because they're not there. Sometimes it's the present parent that does damage, the most
True.
damage, because abandonment is damage. But sometimes is though, like again, the voice that that child might have in their head might be the present parents putting
Mm-hmm.
them down, talking down, telling them big boys don't cry.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be friends with them. And also, as men, we need to check our male friends and hold them accountable. I'm so glad he said that because that's a trending topic. I'm so glad he said that because I got a video for it. So, Neci, we're going to talk about this real quick and then we're going to wrap up, man. Here we go.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable for that as well.
I got play it again. Play it again.
Please, because I missed it.
All right, here we go. Let me turn the music off.
You may not harass women. You may know how to take rejection. The majority of men that most women deal with do not.
Yeah.
And you are accountable for that as well.
What do you think about that? Am I to be held responsible for the actions of other men?
Held responsible. I mean, I don't want to say held responsible, but what I will say is that it definitely, you can be an accomplice, because you said, like, if you in the car and you don't go in the bank to rob the bank, you still could get the same charge, right? Because you were robbed, because you were there. So by association, you could be misconstrued as one of those. But if you're not being vocal to be like, hey, like, let her go, like, don't say that, like, she ain't, like, she was polite. I mean, I'm not saying she has to be polite. I'm just saying, she said no, she's good, like, let her go, like, whatever. That should happen. It absolutely should. The question is, why doesn't it?
See, that's my problem with what he said. That suggests or it makes us think that we don't hold other men accountable. The thing is, there are men that they do men, they're men. They're gonna do what they're gonna do. For example, I was in the military, right? It was in the Navy. I joined at 17. I don't if anybody that know about military people, a lot of them they get married young because of BH and all that stuff. So mind you, I'm 18 years old and I'm working with people who are married at 19. So me and my unmarried, single, young friends are going out doing what we do at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So we had a partner who would try to tag along all the time to the point to where it annoyed us. Because we would go out, leave, we would leave the ship 6, be out and not come back till 4 in the morning. Why you try and come with us as a married man with a child? It got to the point where we would be like, hey man, go home on your wife. Go home. That's how bad it got. You think he listened to us? No, he just found other men that were married that was doing what he wanted to do.
And that's the right thing. You spoke up, you no longer allowed the behavior, and he moved on.
Now, John says, no, sir. Here's the thing, too. When it comes to accountability is a single player game.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that he said it, it's rubbing a lot of people wrong, right? Because one, you're assuming that we don't try to hold our homeboys accountable. We never have these talks and stuff like that. That's not true. These talks to be happening. You ain't gonna see them in a Tyler Perry movie, but they be happening for you. We do check our boys. When they effing up, a man will quicker tell his friend that he's messing up than I think a woman would tell hers. Because how many times who do you hear ending friendships over being held accountable more? It's usually not men. We will tell them. And that also, like women, y'all got into this shot too. Because if I tell my homeboy stop doing women dirty, and then you've had children by a man that does women dirty all the time, like if you're rewarding him, if you're rewarding his bad behavior, nothing I say gonna help. Like, give me an example of 3 celebrities that you would call bad boys. Like, they're just not good men. Future's up there.
He's always there.
Okay. Nick Cannon, would you think?
I don't know if I would say he's a bad guy.
Okay.
I mean, he's just very promiscuous.
Stefan
Is that what we're
Diggs?
talking about?
Stefan Diggs? Would you say he's
I don't know
up
much
there?
about it. I don't know much about Stefan to make a
Okay.
judgment.
Offset.
We could say JD. We know he has a problem.
Okay. What do these men have in common?
Tell me.
1, they have money.
Mm-hmm.
2, they're never short of women.
No.
You see, Siobhan says Future and Cam Newton. You think Cam Newton have problems finding a woman?
No. I'm not defending it. I'm not defending it. Because men without money still end up in these same situations too. So I don't want to say it's just money. But all some women do see is the dollar sign despite the situation. And that's wrong of them.
But even in your local neighborhood, though, there are F boys, right?
Always.
They don't have no problem getting woman, though.
They don't. As I said, it's not only just money. That's what I'm saying.
So when you see these men with a bunch of baby mamas, it's no secret that they ain't. However, it doesn't hinder them from getting woman. So as much as woman talk and man talk, you know, like these women that keep getting pregnant by Future and Nick Cannon and Cam Newton and all, y'all know they trash though. So somehow me telling him, hey, dude, you trash. Gonna stop? I'm not what he's after.
I think, John, you're veering off the initial thing of the rejection, right? Okay. Where when they say no, because if we say no, that's where you don't see the accountability. It's like, hey, and then you're being more aggressive, or you're getting rowdy, or you're grabbing on me. I've never seen a man correct another man when a woman tells them no. I've never seen it. I can't say the correction never happens. Yeah. But I've never seen it. And I've seen plenty women tell men no and they continue their advance, both aggressively or try to be more politely, despite the no being very clear.
Well, let's do this. Have you also seen women post things about men stopping after saying no and be shocked? Like, you ain't got no perseverance. You done after that little try? Have you ever seen that?
I've seen the post, but not from people that I actually know. Like from just socially, I've seen that. but I'm talking people that I'm aware of that I know, like experience as well. Because I've experienced telling men no and then they trying to be aggressive. I'm like, who the you think you talk playing with? I am not the one, the two, definitely not the three, because you'll be 6 feet after me. Because I
But them,
don't know, because I don't play those games.
yeah,
But
but them
I've
guys
seen it.
usually roll with other guys that are cool with that too, though.
Yes. And I've other guys just stand there and said nothing.
True,
And
true.
I've seen it happen to other girls too, and they say nothing. So while I can't say that it doesn't happen. I've never seen it happen in real time. And I think that's where it matters most.
Okay.
Because if
You
I
think it
then
matters?
that for me validates that you know what I told him no, he didn't like the no, but he checked him, so he's okay with no. It gives me a validation that it's not the majority, and it's not everyone. It might be one out of every five. You know what I mean? Like I can make my own math out of that. But if I've never seen it, they keep happening, then to me it's the majority, which is an unfair assessment because we know that not all men are like that. But how do we determine that? Like, do you remember the post? Do you remember the post that there was a post a couple, I think it was maybe last year or so, and there was like, what would make the world more safe? And a lady responded and said, if there were no men. And the men took her head off because they couldn't understand what she was saying. But she was saying most of women's fear comes from men.
Hmm.
And men didn't want to hear that from her. Like what she's talking about isn't real or isn't true or isn't the experience. And I'm not saying that women don't have their side to play. We're just speaking specifically on this because we know once you make a comment, everybody comes to the hypothetical and the other side of the coin and but women too. And we could talk about women too. I have no problem talking about women too because we do some bullshit too constantly. But again, I have never seen it. I haven't experienced it. I think if you do a survey on that, I would be curious what the survey results are. How many women have seen men check their friend in real time when a woman says no? Like you probably won't be surprised, but you'll see that I'm not. I know what I'm talking about.
No, I
I
believe you.
want to be, and I also want to be wrong. That which is the I want this to I want to be wrong.
You know that. Oh man, I can do the poll. However, it okay. Like
You
the
don't
thing about
have to. I'm
it.
just saying, like, if the numbers would just be what the
No,
numbers
I
are.
no, I get what you're saying. However, I'd wonder if those numbers would be accurate because it just seemed like just from my point of view and for I mean, men, y'all could let me know in the comments too. It just seemed like women in general have a negative perception of men as a whole. You know what I'm saying? Like they don't stop being with men, but they don't talk down on men all the time. You know what I'm saying? Which I think is
Agreed.
crazy.
And if you're talking on the same type of men that you're being with, it's a problem
Yeah.
for me. But if you're trying to experience different people, because sometimes as women, right, when you see a woman who's single for so long, oh, I don't bring the money that oh look, you can't stand on anything without being jabbed at. But if she's still trying to date, but the ones that she's experiencing isn't what she's looking after, she should have a right to move on from those things. So does a man have a right to move on. But I've seen it enough played out that they don't. I could tell you a story when I was younger. And a guy tell a guy no, and the guy was trying to follow me outside the club door for my car. Like, what do you mean no? Like you don't want me? Like sir, I just want to go home.
Yeah.
And I
And
don't have to explain to you. I don't give you my number. If I said no, it's no.
and he should definitely be checked. What got me though,
He was checked, but not from people he was around.
for facts. Now there's the women that are saying that it's a majority of the men, but then there are women that I'm seeing also saying that men don't approach anymore. We don't try to dance with women no more. So it's like I don't know where the numbers are. Is it the
Mhm.
majority or because I complain about two different things? But so I don't know. I
I
don't
think
know.
if you want, if as women, if you have an interest, make your interest known so the guy know that it's okay. Some guys don't know it's okay. Some guys don't want to be. And let's be real, some of us women, we don't just say no, like no, thank you. We don't tell them we don't drag a man if we feel we should drag him if we don't think he's cute enough or dressed properly or whatever and embarrass them. And some guys don't like to be. People don't like embarrassment, so they might not approach you because they don't want to be embarrassed just in case. Just like how you want to feel it, you could say no and walk away and be okay. Men don't like to be embarrassed sometimes, but how some of us to go on. Let's not pretend that we don't go out all politely all the time, because we don't. So it's like that. But if you're interested in somebody, you want them to dance with you, go dance with them, or go the person aware that you're interested. There's nothing wrong with that. You can't play a piece of in on the board, so.
True. Devon says, my timeline is well curated, haven't seen it, but I have had my arm grabbed and been followed to the parking lot in a group. Oh, I try saying no in a kind way so it won't make them aggressive towards me. And I know that there are women who like say that they have a boyfriend, say that, get them fake numbers just so they have time to get away. It's true. It's a thing that is happening. And we as men do need to pull up our homeboys and let them know what it is, because that's it. Nobody should feel unsafe. Also, we need to document that. Protect yourself. That would be something that, like, protect yourself at all times. Also, don't expect for someone else to come to your aid. I think we need to all be prepared for a world that is not a utopia, because men also carry protection from other men. So when you say that what would make the world safer is no men, I understand where you come from on that. Yeah. I get it. Okay. One thing I decided to do 10 plus years ago was keep any women around me safe. When they leave in parties, I started walking with them to their cars. It's awesome. I've seen men silently watch, but I've not seen men check each other. It's really sad. Mm-hmm. There is a difference between making a presence known and stalking. True. Drag and be so loud in public. Mm-hmm. We all just need to be kinder to each other and accept no as an answer. That, like, no is a full sentence with a period at the end. Neci, you got any final words for the people?
You drained me today. My good joy I had is gone.
I still get some joy left. We good.
We're not listen. We're gonna have to limit these political things to like 3 marks or something. We have to pick a number, because this was intense.
Well, we had a lot to catch up on because we weren't here. You know what I'm saying? So
we got to catch up all in one day. We didn't have to. We could have had a show in a week or something.
Positive stuff.
Break it up.
If you have positive news that you would like us to talk about, please DM Same Difference. Let us know. She don't need no more vacation. What? She just come off a one.
I'm ready to submit my days in the calendar, Siobhan. I'm ready.
She just come off a one. This is one day.
I'm ready to go in the calendar and send him my time, because I gotta reclaim my time.
Me ain't like you do that. Me ain't like that. She just do that. Me ain't like that. What that talk.
I like that she's looking out for my mental health. Okay.
I know, right? Did she ever come off vacation? She might be back at one tomorrow for all you know. What the hell?
I appreciate that very much.
Hey, go ahead and share the live, folks. Share the live. Tell people about a different day with Ja and Neci. We're here on 101.3 Row FM. We're live streaming, and it's also on the Same Difference YouTube page. You can check us out at VI_very_own. We're going to scroll it across the screen just for you. Yeah, stay tapped in with us. We'll be back next Sunday from 4 to 6 p.m. right here. So go ahead and tell a friend. We have some good conversations. There's still more stuff, but we out of time. Neci is Carmen San Diego. CRUCIAN San Diego. That's what she is. CRUCIAN San Diego.
Change my name.
Yeah, we're going to change it. We're going to figure something out, man. We're going to figure something out. I got to do like an AI of Neci with the red coat and the hat. We're going to figure something out.
I have a blue and a black one. I don't have a red one though, but I might. Now you get me thinking about it.
That'd be dope. All right, man. Y'all share the live. Come back. Be here next Sunday between 4 and 6. 101.3. Follow Same Difference on Facebook. It's just Same Difference. All right. We'll see y'all, man. We love you. We out. Peace.